List operations. Once we have data inside of a list, we can do stuff with it. There are actually many operations you can do on a list, so we'll learn about a few of them here. The list includes indexing, subscripting, membership testing, appending, and popping. Much like strings, you can use square brackets to access a specific element of the list. Notice that the syntax is the same, including the fact that we can start counting from 0, and can use negative numbers to access elements from the back. Do not be confused by the square brackets here. When they are first, they are list creation. When they are second, they are list indexing. Much like strings, you can use a colon and square brackets to access a range of elements from a list. The rules are the same as for strings. The first number is the starting index, and the second element is the ending index. If you skip the first number, it will assume you want to start from the beginning. If you skip the second number, it will assume you want to stop at the end. And again, negative numbers work just as well. Remember, if you are struggling to calculate an index or subscript, write down the elements in boxes with numbers below for indexing or between for subscripting. I'm begging you. Much like strings, you can ask if a list has a specific value in it. The in operator has a list on the right, and then any kind of value or variable on the left. There is also a not in operator to determine the inverse. Note that the operator matches exactly. In the example code shown here, the string car does not match Carol because it's not an exact match. You cannot add elements to a list using the plus operator. Instead, you must call a method of the list called append. The word append means add to the end. Append lets you add one thing to the end of the list. The append method returns none, so be careful not to assign it back to the variable. You can also remove one thing from the end of the list using the pop method. You will not need to do this too often in this course, because removing things from a list can actually be a little tricky. Just remember, you cannot remove items from a list with subtraction.